Hello there guys, it's Joey and this is a requested spell set for honouring the goddess Aphrodite, the god Poseidon, and a herbal blend to combine the two, and therefore I have called it the Ocean's Heart spell set. So Aphrodite is a goddess with which I've done a little bit of work here and there, mainly for the store, in fact almost entirely for the store. Because the Greek and into the Roman pantheon is energies that I am very, very familiar with, grew up with the myths. One of the oldest books of myth I have that I always think of in this is Enid Blyton's Tales from Long Ago, and it's all about the Greek mythology, and it's on this very, very fine paper, and I still have that book from when I was very, very young. I've kept it with me for many, many years, and it was one of those very first few introductions into the world of myth, only predated by the ancient Egyptian books that I used to have, I think. So I'm very aware of the mythos, although I was thinking about it that I hadn't heard of that many of the myths regarding Poseidon. I remember the Athens myth with Poseidon where he loses out to Athena, and there's one or two myths where he's chasing females, very much like Zeus, but on a far less epic scale than Zeus, I guess. So it took me a while. I had to find the balance where I wanted these two energies to interweave. And the two votives and the herbal blend is what was requested, what was specified for the set. Although I think that the votives work very well as a companion set. So Ocean's Heart is about really taking the heart, the centre of a part of the mythos of these two gods that sets the stage for building a relationship with these two deities and embodies the heart of their energies. And that has to do with the ocean. So Aphrodite is born of sea foam, it is her creation myth. And she's often pictured either as Aphrodite, it tends to be Venus with the shell and being near water. And water is connected with realms of the emotion. The heart being like an ocean is a familiar metaphor, and shells are very often associated with beauty, and then you have your kind of mermaidy allure connecting desire and the ocean and that deep well of feeling. And obviously within witchcraft and things we work frequently within water being the conduit to the realm of the emotion, the emotional state. And for Poseidon obviously rules over the oceans, that's his domain. And it flowed very naturally from that centerpiece, the ocean's heart being something dear to both of these gods, a connection, if you like, that one feels that for Aphrodite to have been born from the sea, that Poseidon would have had to have approved of it. And although these two gods are not gods that I have gone into great depths with personally, I wanted to respect the energies of those great depths within both the god Poseidon and the goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite is a little bit easier to conjure up images of, to connect with the energy. I've done that a couple of times in the past, and that's very much to do with being goddess of love, and love being to burn and yearn, and the quieter, gentler side of love, the passionate side of love, the violent side of love, love being what can tear you right down to the core and the quick. And in a way this is kind of mirrored with Poseidon, because the ocean is this great journey, this traversable ocean mass, but only by the will of Poseidon, is what the Greeks believed, and you had to placate him to be able to cross this great journey, and it could suck you down and it could kill you, or it could be life-giving and sustaining because it was the ocean from which, you know, fish was caught and trade was conducted and those sorts of images. So both have that element of they can give you the greatest boon or they can be the greatest destroyers, and I really liked that sort of interplay here between that kind of journey-esque side of the set. There's also the seduction side of things. Both of these gods have stories of love and lust and seduction, and that kind of interweaves its way through the mythos that's attached to the underlying energies combined within this little spell set here. So let's have a close-up at the items themselves. So first off, there was a herbal blend, and the herbal blend was very interesting to me because I knew almost immediately what I wanted to be at the very, very centre, at the very, very core of the herbal blend. The elements came very, very naturally, they just flowed, and I knew how I wanted it to feel aesthetically. And kind of looking at it, I think it kind of looks like you imagine a sort of a Mediterranean sea rather than perhaps a northern sea or anything like that, because Mediterranean seas and seas that are a little bit more exotic with the plant life underneath, and you get much more of a colour vibration and much clearer waters in, say, like the Mediterranean, or if you know, off the coast of Australia and things like that, where people go snorkeling. And that's the kind of image that I wanted to conjure a little bit, that you're kind of walking through the underwater city perhaps of Atlantis, and you will be able to look around, and it's that kind of mystical journey to a realm which is a little bit unreachable, and that's very much the theme here. Journeys that have a depth, that have a risk, and that have spiritual reward. So then we'll do Poseidon's votive. So the colours were very natural and a rich deep blue, and you can see the correlation between votives here, that they both have a little shell right there, so they line up, and then on opposite sides they both have a herb it's different herbs in both, that kind of stand away and give a little bit of a lift, a point to the votive in question, and then the colours shine through together with the shimmy. It's interestingly enough, you've got what looks very much like a horse, if depending if I can get it to shine right, or a mermaid. So you can see like a little mermaid here, and then if you move it around this way it kind of looks like a horse galloping, both of which are associated with Poseidon, obviously, and it's just one of those things that it came out that way, and like someone was listening. So I like it when things happen like that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like it when things surprise me a little bit like that. It's like, oh, I like that a lot. So then you have the Aphrodite. Again, you have the shell for that side of things, and the point, just to give it a little bit of a raised stakes, if you like, and to mirror one another. So that's it for the Ocean's Heart spell set. I hope you like it, and many blessings.